Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty, Haggerty10 Twitter handle, as you can see. And I'm delighted today to be joined by the Herald sports writer, Graeme McGarry. How are you, Graeme?
Very well, thanks, Tony. Yourself, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Small matter of the Glasgow derby tonight, Graeme. Business as usual, isn't it? It's...
I'd heard there was something on the night,
Have you got that, as Paul McStay, only an excuse parody would say, a buzz about the place?
Can certainly feel it, mate, in social media and everything. Yeah, it's coming through. I think Josip Juranovic kind of lit the blue touch paper last night. He's talking about Aaron Ramsey, which was a great line, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's only Aaron Ramsey. So I think the Celtic fans like that one, to be honest. It's a good wee line. So yeah, there's definitely a buzz about, and you know, I think everybody, probably on both sides, is really looking forward to it. It's set up to be an absolute cracker, you know.
For journalists, when players say things like that, Graeme, it's known as manna from heaven, isn't it? You just sort of say, "Oh, your beauty," you know. You can, you know, everybody has their own thoughts on various clubs and their signings, but I think chance for Celtic to go top, Graeme, tonight, and also to get that kind of record off the back of not having beat Rangers since 2019. Yeah. Lots of little subplots playing out here, isn't there, as well, tonight?
Definitely, yeah. I think Ange was very sort of dismissive of that line during the week because he makes a good point. You know, like this Celtic team, I've only been involved in one of those games. That was right at the start of this season when I think even Rangers fans would say, you know, Celtic were in a real state of flux at the time. You had Juranovic coming in for his debut at left back and the team were just settling in. I think it's a different proposition now. And as Ange said, I think probably the better guide to this game is the form the two teams have been showing recently rather than the form in this fixture over the last wee while. Obviously, a Celtic Rangers game is different. You know, the guys will have to be, the way guys coming into it for the first time, they'll have to handle that. But I think if you're looking at form, you're looking at the way the two teams are playing at the moment, I just think Celtic have probably got the edge going into the game anyway. But we'll see how that plays out.
Could be a lot of Celtic debutants though, Graeme. In terms of that, you know, there are people who say that your first derby maybe passes you by, but if Celtic have got up to 5 debutants, it can't pass them by, can it?
No, they need to seize the opportunity, and that's another thing that the manager was saying yesterday was that you have to really savour these games. This is why players come to Celtic to play in these games, and from the flip side of that, it's why they're chosen to play for Celtic as well, is their ability to go and handle these big occasions.
Yep.
So they've got to do that. You know, that there's no way they can let this opportunity pass them by. I think it would be a massive statement for Celtic to win this game and go top of the league, considering the start they had to the league campaign. And people talk about momentum, and sometimes I think that can be overrated, but I think there is a case to say this game is all about momentum. If Celtic win this game tonight, it puts them in such a strong position. It's only 1 point clear at the top of the league, but psychologically, I think it would deal a big blow to Rangers if they to lose this game tonight. So I think it's a massive occasion, and hopefully those 5 boys, if there is as much as 5 debutants there, can handle it.
Who plays, Graeme, then? I put my team up on the Celtic way earlier this morning, and my team was Hart, Juranovic, Karlovic, Starfelt, Taylor, McGregor, Hatate, OReilly, Jota, Jacky Marcus, and Abada. That was my team, and the manager hinted at it, but Callum McGregor's going to play, isn't he?
If I was a betting man, which I am, Tony, I think my money would be safely on it. Yeah, I don't know. You know, Ange isn't known for his mind games, really. You know, he's been quite a straight talker, and I think if he's hinting that Callum might be able to play, and I think if there's any chance Callum could play, knowing Callum McGregor as well, I think he's 90% is probably where I would put my feeling on this. I think he's going to play. I definitely do. I think if he wasn't going to play, I think Ange would have shut it down immediately. Now, obviously, it's not a certainty because he does have to come through,
of course,
training, and he's got to make sure he's comfortable with the mask. And as Ange also said, Callum won't want to play if he's not going to be at his best. But I think if Near Beaton was available, perhaps they wouldn't risk it.
Yeah.
I think with him being suspended, I can only see Callum McGregor taking to the field tonight. I think he will lead the team out. And if I was to disagree with your team at any point, I think perhaps Ange may lean towards James Forrest for Abada, just for his experience. So if he's available, if there was nothing wrong with him in terms of the going off at half time the other day, it didn't really work for him out in the left at the weekend there, but I think he might be put back in the right hand side and Jota on the left.
Fair enough. That's we'll soon
Harsh on
see.
Abada though. Harsh on Abada.
I was going to say, as you talk about momentum, surely Abada's got momentum going into that game. But
I think just he's got to kind of get the balance of experience as well in there, you know. And I think
also, I totally get that. Do you see those guys handling it, Graeme? The likes of Haggerty and OReilly, Jota.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't, because I think what works in their favour here is that it's a full Celtic Park. It's not an environment that they're not used to. You know, if there was 10,000 Rangers fans in the corner or behind the goal, that might make it a different beast altogether. But I think this will take the feel of a kind of big European night at Celtic Park. And, you know, OReilly and Haggerty obviously haven't experienced that, but most of the other guys have so far. So with the fans behind them, 60,000 Celtic fans, all, you know, pulling for them, I don't see why they wouldn't handle it. I think the pace of the game is obviously going to be something they'll have to get used to, but they've played at Tynecastle as well, and they did well. Both those players did well in that match. So, yeah, I think given the circumstances, I don't really have any undue worries that they'll be able to handle it, to be honest.
Frank Brennan comes in, morning. Frank, regular contributor, says absolutely they must seize the opportunity, and they'll have 60,000 rolling them on too. So no excuses, give your all and don't let MD down. Yeah, and then Peter McCool comes in and says, I told you all 2 weeks ago Celtic would be top on the third. Well, Peter, it'll all come out in the wash tonight.
You can do my counting.
As you say, the other little subplots are both managers are going for their first derby win, Graeme, as well. You know, Andy's only had one. This will be Van Bronckhorst's first, you know, and also Celtic are 12 out of 13, but unblemished since they came back after the break, 4-4, 9 points out of 9. Rangers dropped 4 in their last 4 games. You know, so there's just signs that there's a momentum shift, as you say, and a pendulum swing. Yeah,
definitely. I think you can't underestimate the power of that last-minute equaliser for Ross County and the last-minute winner for Celtic. I think those two moments are huge in the context of not just this game, but potentially the season. But if we take this game just on its own, I think if Celtic go into that match 0-0, having had the chance to go, you know, really put the pressure on, go within 2 points of Rangers, I think there would have been a real sense of deflation after the final whistle on Saturday. But as it was, they get the goal, down to 10 men, still get the goal, still keep going. And the place was absolutely, you know, it was jumping at the end. And I think good feeling from that will just carry on into this game. And that's, when we touched on momentum, I think that's where Celtic have the momentum at the moment. And it's really important that they continue to, you know, grasp that. You don't want to give Rangers, hand them that momentum back, because at the moment they'll be feeling quite sore after that. Thrown away 2 points really up at Ross County. So it's a massive opportunity for Celtic, I think, tonight. And I've just got a feeling that they're probably, of the two teams, they're in the better place at the moment, and I think they're going to do it.
Backing of the home crowd will be crucial as well, Graeme. 60,000 inside Celtic Park. It'll be rocking. They've waited a long time for this, haven't they? Because they were denied the pleasure of seeing it last year, and they weren't allowed in Ibrox, so they're going to vent their spleen, aren't they? They're going to shout, they're going to roar.
Definitely, I think it's important though that they remain patient. They've been patient this far to get into this game, but on the night they have to be patient as well. We touched upon this just before we come on. Tony, we're having a wee chat. Is that Celtic, you know, even when they're dominating teams this year, probably their biggest failing has been, despite all the talk about the defending early on, the biggest feeling has been they've not been clinical enough. They've not put teams to bed when they've had the chance. And I think if, you know, there's 1 or 2 chances missed or things aren't quite dropping their way early on, it'd be easy for the crowd to, you know, get frustrated and get on their backs. And I think that's what Rangers will want to do. They'll come and they'll try and, you know, silence the crowd, try and frustrate Celtic, and try and turn the crowd against them. But the crowd, the way they've been with Ange, I think they'll stick with the team. they'll be patient, and I think that's really, really important on the night, that they really stick with the guys, and no matter if it takes to the 92nd minute again, that they stay behind them all the way.
Alan Robertson comes in and says Abada definitely ahead of James Forrest at the minute. And Chill Pill comes in and says the passion from Abada when he scored on Saturday was just what we need, and he deserves his chance. And another one who Celtic will look to tonight, Graeme, is Jota. He's just looked bang at it since he came back, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been great since he signed. Really, right back.
Yeah.
Settled in straight away. I think you could tell pretty early on this was a special player that Celtic had managed to bring over. And I think a good gauge of a player is always, you look at the comments from the club he's left behind, and the fans, and what they think about him, and what they think about the decision to let him go. And I think you'll see almost on a weekly basis in any Celtic content where Jota's involved, the Benfica fans are all over it, saying this is a disgrace that he's been allowed to go, and yeah, they're really upset about it. So I think Celtic have landed a player there who I think will go on to even bigger and better things in the future. But while hopefully it becomes a permanent fixture at Celtic, and then they can get a few bob from down the line. I think he'll be a key player tonight. You saw the difference he made just coming on at half time at the weekend there, lifted the whole place. Gets the ball, he's direct, he's got undoubted quality. I think he'll probably be Celtic's key danger man tonight.
Yep, Alan Robertson goes back in and says Jota could be the difference tonight. I totally agree with that. But we will see. And then Ted comes in with a left field one. He says Georgios Jacky Marcus is the key tonight. What's your thoughts on Jacky Marcus, Graeme?
Do you know what? I like him. I think he offers something different. However, I would say, Saturday wasn't his day at all. He looked a little bit out of sorts. He was very good against Hearts. I think against Hearts he showed a different sort of side to his game as well. He got his goal, took it really well, but it was his physical presence that I really liked. He went up against the Hearts centre halves and really competed well. Showed his strength, and he's willing to run the channels as well if that's what it comes to. He'll put a real shift in for the team. So I was expecting big things on Saturday there from him, but he struggled a wee bit, and he snatched at a couple of chances, and it just wasn't his day. But Ange just trusted him. He's got no other option really to play up front at the moment. And I think from Jacky Marcus' point of view, he really needs a big performance so the Celtic fans really take him to heart.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could just be his night. He certainly due one after Saturday anyway.
I tell you something else. So the Celtic fans are purring over the likes of Matt O'Reilly and Rio Hatate. They've hit the ground running as well, Graeme, and been very influential in the games that they've played so far. Yeah,
Hatate, I think he's obviously caught the eye and he's getting a lot of the headlines, and rightly so. I mean, his goal at Tynecastle, his performance against Hibs, fantastic. A wee bit quieter on Saturday there, but so too. He wasn't alone in that. I think Matt O'Reilly, he's really, really stood out to me in the two games he's played so far. Thrown into Tynecastle, handled it brilliantly, created 8 chances on the night. I think the closest to that was 2 from anyone else. So he's a really influential player, and especially with Tom Rogic missing, he can provide that creativity from midfield that perhaps Celtic won't have, and also with Turnbull not being there as well. So I've been really impressed with him, I've got to say, and I think he was good against Dundee United as well. Used the ball really well, great left foot, great set piece delivery as well. So he looks to be a real find, and I think he could be an influential player tonight as well.
Brad McEwen says O'Reilly's going to be a huge player for us going forward. These are the games that make instant heroes and put you, you go down in legend. Graeme, do you see somebody like that grabbing the headlines, a Hatate or O'Reilly or a Jacky Marcus being that hero by getting a winning goal?
I've just got a wee feeling for Jacky Marcus tonight, I've got to say. I think it's one of those where he's maybe not the one who's expected to step up. I know we said it was a bit right field when one of the contributors said that there. Left field, sorry. But I've just got this feeling that he's got a big goal in him. He obviously was really prolific in the Eredivisie before he came to Celtic. There was big, high hopes for him. It hasn't really happened so far, but there's been wee signs recently that I think he's coming onto a game, and after he missed a few on Saturday, I think he's got it saved up for tonight. That's what he's been doing. But just I've got a wee feeling he might be the one who pops up with a wee goal and makes himself a hero to the Celtic fans at last.
Simon Thomas comes in, a pertinent point. Discipline is the key. Celtic can't afford to have anyone sent off tonight. I guess that's paramount, isn't it, in these fixtures, that if you're being aggressive, it has to be channeled in the right way, Graeme?
Yeah, it's a massive balancing act for the players because, as you say, with 60,000 fans shouting you on, the chance to go top of the league, the hype surrounding the fixture, and as we said earlier on, a lot of them is their first Glasgow derby for them. So it's going to be a challenge to keep your emotions in check, but they have to do it. Probably with Beaton being there, it might help with him not being in the team, because he could be one who does lose the plot a wee bit sometimes, despite his experience. But yeah, it's so important that they keep 11 men in the pitch, because it's one thing going for the winner with 10 men against Dundee United at home, but trying to get the win against Rangers with 10 men, you're giving yourself a mountain to climb there. So yeah, got to keep your discipline, and got to keep cool heads, despite obviously it'll be a raucous atmosphere round about them.
Frank Brennan's got it sorted. Discipline, focus, and taking their chances. That's the way he sees Celtic winning that game tonight. I believe we believe the same as well, Graeme. That's what.
Yeah, that's probably the bullet points for Angie's team talk right there. I think Frank's nailed that. Taking the chances has got to be a massive emphasis, because it's, as we said, it's been Celtic's failing so far this year. You just feel with Celtic, I think it may not happen tonight because the quality of opposition obviously is taking a step up, but I just think they're due to give someone a hiding. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but when you watch a team like Celtic creating all these chances and squandering quite a lot of them despite the quality they have, that's not going to last forever. If they keep creating the chances, sooner or later they'll revert to the mean. 3 or 4 of these will go in. So whether that happens tonight, as I say that, I'm not sure, but I think at home it could be one of those nights where Celtic just make a real statement here.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but I've been wrong before.
I use rhyming slang, as you know I am wont to do from a previous relationship in the press. I said it could be somebody getting Inverness clacking a cudding, i.e. a scudding. So I think the Celtic supporters would want that scudding to happen tonight if possible. But they do create a lot, Graeme, and that has been a bugbear of Angie's, hasn't it? So I guess tonight would be as you say, the optimum time for maybe a Jacky Marcus to step up to the plate, and if he gets the chances to score them and be that hero, as you say, and have that night that people might not think that he'll be the man. But what a way to win over the supporters, as you say.
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity, and that's what he's got to look at it in those terms. He's got to think, I'm coming here, I'm a big game player. He spoke before, he had a lot of pressure on him at Athens when he was there. So he's used to those kind of big occasions I've been in Athens when Celtic played there a few years ago, and the fans are pretty demanding, let's just say, quite fiery. So he comes from that kind of background, and I think these will be the games where he'll be really relishing it. And why do you come to Celtic? Is to play in these big games and flourish and show that you can handle it. So if he's got that in his locker, now's the time to show it.
And also as well, Ange has made a big point of saying that's why he's brought these players. Not just because they're good players, it's about character and temperament and everything else that goes with it. He knows they're good players. It's about fitting into that system and playing in these big games and performing. He's always talking about a consistency of performance, isn't he? And I think that's what he wants from Celtic tonight. They've been consistent up until this point. Replicate it and get better. Yeah,
it all goes back to that, the famous old quote that the jersey doesn't shrink to fit inferior players. It's that, it might be a cliche, but it's so true, and that's what we need tonight, is the players to really show that they're Celtic players. It's all very well, as you say, winning 12 out of 13 is great, but these are the ones that the fans will remember. And given the way that both teams have been going in the league, I think these are the games that are going to be really telling. Sometimes you can get away with losing an old firm fixture here or there, or dropping a couple of points and make it up somewhere else. But I don't see, even though Rangers drop points at the weekend, it's not something they've been consistently doing throughout the course of the season. So you won't get away with it as much. I think these games will take on a greater significance this season because the race is so tight. And these are the games where you need to show why are you a Celtic player? This is the platform to do it. This is the stage that you want to play on, so you need to prove that you belong there.
Paul comes in and says, thank God for these podcasts. It helps the time go by. It's going to be a long day. It is indeed. And before we go, just going to have to put both of us on the spot. Graeme, what's your prediction? What do you think?
I think it'll be Celtic 2, Rangers 0. That's my prediction. I think it'll be a goal early in the second half by Matt O'Reilly, and then a late clincher by Jacky Marcus on the break. That's my prediction. Right?
Well, I'm going to go Celtic 3, Rangers 1. Celtic to be clinical for once. Who scores, I'm not too sure, but I'll go Jota, O'Reilly and Jacky Marcus in that order. There you go, guys. How positive is that to end the bulletin? Enjoy your day. Hopefully you can enjoy your night, and we'll reconvene. Graeme, thanks a lot for your contribution. Really enjoyed that.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for all your contributions as well, guys. Your comments, we always appreciate them. We'll speak to you tomorrow when hopefully Celtic could go top of the league.